All Juicy Gamer here, and this is another episode of Football Manager 2016 up to Pompey. So, this season I'm going to have three different reviews throughout the season, and that's going to be at the end of October, the end of January, so you can actually see the January transfers that I make, as well as, of course, the end of the season, possibly more if I end up in a playoff position. So, our first season in Sky Bet League One, and how's it gone? Well, keen-eyed viewers will see a couple of things here. Portsmouth still looking for a win. We have 7 matches in a row without winning, starting with a terrible 4-1 loss to Chesterfield, and most recently drawing 1-1 with MK Dons. So it hasn't been the best month or two. However, we did start the season very well. And to look at that, let's have a quick look at Sky Bet League 1. For some reason I keep on missing it. Oh, there you go. So, at the moment we're 8th in Sky Bet League 1. We have played 16 games, 6 wins, 6 draws and 4 losses. So it's not been a terrible time. However, our form, as you can see, is probably one of the worst in the league. Definitely one of the worst in the top half, apart from Blackpool. But if you look at our position graph, we started the season on fire. Um, so this was our start of the season, and we just kept on going up, up, up to second. And then as we peaked at second, we slowly fell down the league. That's a bit unfortunate, of course, and that's largely due to some injuries to key players, as well as bad luck, really, and strikers who still aren't on form. Anyway, so let's have a look at some of these players who are injured. We have Paul Coots, our starting centre midfield, Gail Bigrimana, who has been our third choice centre midfield, our first choice left winger. Currently, just in the last match, Joe Matic, our first choice left back, got suspended due to 5 yellow cards, and Donovan Daniels is awaiting treatment for a gashed head. So things are looking a bit rough on the injury front. Coots has been out for a while. He's out for another 2 weeks or so. Big Rimana is out for another 3 months, and McAvoy is out for another 5 weeks. So we've been pretty poor, and that's largely due to the fact that we had those injuries. So we started the season pretty well with a 2-0 win against Mansfield, Islam Ferus getting 2 goals from the right wing. Capital One Cup, again, I didn't really care about the Capital One Cup. I didn't put out that weak of a team, but again, I didn't put out a strong team. We had a huge loss against Preston, 5-1 loss, Will Buckley getting the 1 goal for us. We then went on a very good run of, I think it was 8 games without losing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 7 games without losing. A few different scores here, but again, a lot from the wings. Islam Ferus playing on the right, Kenneth McAvoy playing on the left, scoring goals to get us some important wins here. Brett Pittman came in, and we'll look at transfers in a few minutes. He came in at the end of the transfer window, scored a couple of goals in his first 4 or 5 matches, but since then he hasn't been able to score. Suleiman Kamara, also another player who came in, he got a goal in the Johnson's Paint Trophy, where I'm playing slightly stronger team this time around, and we ended up winning on penalties. Since then, though, our big problem has been scoring goals, with Will Buckley the only goal scorer in the league since the end of September. So, let's have a look at those transfers to show you what happened during the transfer window. So here's our transfer history. You will have seen some of this in the pre-season, so I will skip through some of these pretty quickly. But as you can see, Joe Matic came in. He's a very good left back, but for some reason he's going down in stats, maybe because he's a bit older. He's still better than what we had, which was Chickson, even though Chickson is still a good player. Delfonso also came in, and he's been very disappointing, yet to score for Portsmouth, even though he came in for a decent fee. A little bit annoyed by him at the moment. Gail Bigrimana, Again, like I said, he's the third choice centre midfield. He's been playing a little bit, but he's had some injury problems, and he's been all right when he's played, but he hasn't been great. Forster has been one of the bright spots of the season. 14 appearances, a goal, 3 assists, a free player of the match, and 7.57 rating. Glad that I bought him. Glad that he's still playing for the team. Tassir Sharif hasn't played very much, but has done okay, I suppose, when he's come on. Nothing to write home about, though. Ola Aina, again, he's been a backup player, can play anywhere across the back, so I always like getting him on loan. Will Buckley's been disappointing in the fact that even though he scored 2 goals in 5 starts, he has had his injury problems, and we knew that when we signed him. But since he signed, he's had a damaged heel, a thigh strain, and a back strain. So he's been out for about, what's that, 9 weeks altogether? And he's only been here for 3 months, so it's a little bit disappointing. Stephen O'Donnell. So we got Stephen O'Donnell in. He is, again, somebody I looked at in the previous episode. He is a right back. He's as good as Hayden White, but not better. But he can also play wing back, midfield right, and attacking midfield right. So it's nice to have him here because he is very versatile, can play anywhere down that right hand side, and we might be using him in rotation with White, or if White gets injured, and he even might pop up on the right wing occasionally. Suleiman Kamara, I was looking for a player who scored goals previously. Now, I couldn't find many players who scored a lot of goals previously, but I thought because he played for Montpellier for so long and could score a few goals each season that he might be worth getting. So he's only had 1 start so far and 5 sub appearances. He also had a couple of injury problems when he first came, or 1 injury problem when he first came for 4 weeks. So that's one of the reasons he hasn't played very much yet. Decent stats for this level, and could be a player who can play pretty much anywhere. Interesting that he can play goalkeeper too. Awkward. Um, and then Brett Pittman. Brett Pittman was our deadline day signing. We bought him in for 240k. Most of that was over 48 months due to the lack of finances we have. And he has all the stats to play as an advanced forward, which is what I like to play. Acceleration, balance, anticipation, everything's good apart from his determination. Everything's above 10. So I'm confused why he's not scoring goals. He's had 10 games, he's only scored 2 goals. Now I have faith that he can actually score the goals and do well for us, but I just don't know what to do to get him scoring goals. Like I said, first 4 or 5 games he scored 2 goals, it wasn't too bad. But recently he hasn't been playing well and he hasn't been scoring the goals, so hopefully we can improve that. Interesting to note, as part of the clause, I got Ipswich to pay 500 per week. Something I tried to get them to pay a little bit more because I'm running out of finances, and I'm going to show you that now. So the board is still very pleased with my management, but we're currently spending 92,000 per week, and our budget's 84. And that's partly because of Pittman and Kamara, who came in late and on pretty high wages. If we look at our finances, of course, throughout the season, as usual, our finances go down, and it's down to 295k. That happens every season, so I'm not too worried about that. So if we look at our upcoming fixtures, we have Macclesfield and Crawley in the FA Cup and the Johnson's Paint Trophy quarter-final, respectively, and then we have Peterborough at home. I'm really hoping that we can get back on the winning streak before January, and then in January, if I'm lucky, maybe I'll be able to get a couple more players in, because I think I need a few more recruits, bolster the squad a little bit, and I need to find a striker who scores goals. Either Pittman needs to come in and get some goals, or I need to find a striker who can score. Just as a bit of a side note, I missed this earlier. There's a few players let go on loan throughout the season, as usual, but the big sale was Ishmael Miller. I decided to get rid of him because he was unhappy. These other people, Naismith and Roberts, we talked about last time. But Miller was unhappy and he wanted to leave the club. So I got a decent amount, 100k for him, and I thought that was enough to let him go. Interestingly enough, he's gone to MK Dons and can't get in the team there either. So he must be pretty unhappy still. Anyway, thank you once again for watching. This is Football Manager 2016 Up the Pompey action, and hopefully you'll see Pompey rising back up the league. We started off really well, gone for a bit of a dip, but hopefully this will be our only dip of the season, and in the future we can continue to get promoted. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more Football Manager 2016 action.